Imagine this. Your child at lunchtime at school. They open their lunchbox and find a small note filled with encouragement and love. With our collection of 20 positive, printable, inspirational notes, you can easily create this moment. Each note is crafted with an uplifting message that reminds them just how special they are. Just click on the link in the show notes to start boosting your child's spirit today. And now, let's get on with this week's episode. Welcome to the Real Life Moms podcast. It is time to take a break from all our to-dos and carve out this time to focus on ourselves. I'm Lisa Foster, your host, and today I'm here with fellow mom, acupuncturist, and holistic practitioner, Erica Siegel. And she's here to teach us all about the magic of acupuncture and how we can use it at home. So hi, Erica. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you, but let's just get into it because I think people have heard of acupuncture, but I don't think
hmm
people like when people are like, "Oh, can you tell me what it is?" Like nobody
Yeah,
like really knows. So can
yeah,
you describe what is actually happening? What is acupuncture and why is it so magical?
yeah. So acupuncture, it's been around for thousands of years, as far as we know. And as time went on and metals became more refined, acupuncture also became more refined. It started with stone tools and acupressure, right? And then as time went on, it got more and more precise and specific. So really the system is more about the whole network of points on the body that we can utilize to communicate to the brain to then regulate the whole system. So whatever is requiring regulation in the body, if something is off balance, if the hormonal chemicals are off balance, really, if anything's off balance, there are points to stimulate to then communicate up to the brain through the nervous system, through the fascia pathways, to then guide the brain to release neurotransmitters, endorphins, really whatever is required. If it's just requires more blood flow or help the nerves process, it allows the brain to then self-regulate. So it's a beautiful system because it is a self-regulatory system.
Mhm.
So we're just inspiring the body to heal itself.
Yeah.
So tapping into those energy, the points themselves, they're like mounds or ditches of energy.
Hmm.
And so sometimes there's not enough energy, and it requires using points that will stimulate tonification, which means more blood flow, more energy coming to the area, or more like a mound. So ditch, not enough energy, mound, too much energy. When there's too much somewhere, it's almost like a traffic jam
Hmm.
where, and everything gets tense and the blood flow gets compromised, the fluid flow gets compromised, and pain can ensue from that. So the points themselves will help regulate that, either moving too much energy that's there or bringing energy to it if there's not enough.
So are you dealing with, and it may be all of the above or more, but are you dealing with the energy system or are you dealing with actual fluid blood flow system? What is the
All of it,
system?
all of it,
All of
all of
it.
it. So everything can break down to yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's where this whole system comes from, is from one comes two, from two comes everything. And so that duality of yin and yang, they're interconnected and dependent on each other. And the yin is more of the substance of the body, the fluid, the blood, and the yang is more of the energy and the push behind it. So you need that interplay for the both of them to actually work in a harmonious way. So sometimes if people are more deficient in yin, it's like the substance, the dryness, there might be dryness involved. People might have trouble sleeping because yin and yang also break down to day and night. So if
Mm.
someone has trouble with sleeping, sometimes the yin is too low and the yang is pulling us up out into more of the daytime when it should be in night. It's really this delicate little balance that is constantly at play. When those two separate, and we say that they come together around the belly button, just below the belly button, and when those two start to separate, the yang flies up, the yin sinks down, and eventually that's the spirit leaves the body. So a lot of what we do is making sure that yin and yang is balanced.
So, I mean, balance is the key here,
Hmm
right?
yeah.
Balance of
And
it.
children tend to be more yang in nature.
Mm,
And as we get older, we become more yin in nature. It's more sedentary versus the yang, which the kids have so much energy. And yeah, at some point that starts to wane in the other direction. So I would say balance is when for me, it's when I feel no particular symptoms. My mood is good. I'm sleeping well. I'm pooping every day. Everything just seems like it's going well.
yeah.
Anything that seems off balance probably is, right?
Yeah. And when we say off balance, we're also speaking about mood, pain. That's like
Hmm Yeah.
another, right? That's a screaming sign. Like you
hmm
said, the sleep, digestion is probably another one.
hmm
Correct. Like those are all things
the
that can.
immune system can
Mm,
get kind of overrun. Like
mhm,
people that have allergies and a lot of mucus. Mucus is more of a yin condition, so that can people can kind of get overrun with
mm,
the yin and we use points that will help kind of tonify the chi, which is more of a yang kind of energy push in order to help move that fluid out and
mhm,
help strengthen the immune system so that it can easily digest whatever fluids are present and making sure that the fluids are going to the right place as well. When it comes to things like allergies, we say that the spleen stomach system is in charge of this up and down movement. And so the spleen is in charge of sending the clear fluids up to the head,
mm,
right? If it's sending the turbid fluids up to the head, then maybe we need to address the spleen. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the spleen, like that something will show up on a lab,
mhm,
but in traditional East Asian medicine, the spleen is very important for the transformation and transportation of our food and creating the correct amount or a balanced amount of fluids and they're going to the right places.
mhm,
So part of what we do is just making sure the organs are doing their job and
mm.
their influence on the whole system, making sure that they're happy.
Yeah. And it's funny as you're talking, people have things that like bother them. Or like
Hmm
allergies is a great example because it's like,
hmm
oh, I have allergies. Well, it's just seasonal. There's nothing I could do about
hmm
it. But when I'm hearing from you is like allergies, I might just be not in balance where my body could actually deal with the fluids or whatever it is that are coming in. So I
hmm
like that kind of reframe of it. It's not that I have to like, oh, I just have allergies or oh, my immune system is just low or oh, I just have a digestive problem, right? Like I
hmm
might, I'm probably just not balanced and need a little help, which as
hmm
moms, we're like never balanced. So this is great.
Yeah, and with the allergies too, we look at the liver. I call the liver the tyrant organ. It's the one when there's stress, it will attack the other organ systems.
Mm,
And so the liver is the overreactor. And so when there's, environmental overreaction, digestive overreaction, then we also look at calming down and smoothing or coursing the liver qi, making sure it's
mm.
nice and smooth.
Yeah. Oh, I love the different organs because we don't think about those like on our day-to-day like
Hmm
balanced life. I might say, "Oh, I want to get healthy. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to meditate, but no one's really talking about what I'm doing for my organs, right?
Right. And all those things are influenced by the organs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah. And for example, the kidneys are another really important organ system in traditional Chinese medicine. And sometimes we look at genetic diseases or genetic issues, or if you're born with issues, we look at the kidneys as maybe being a little weak. And so there's certain points, there's certain herbs that are really good for strengthening the kidneys. And especially for kids, it's like, oh, you can really set a child up for life if they're weak at the beginning and they are able to do things that strengthen the kidneys. That can then influence the rest of their whole life.
Mm.
Their ability to have children later, their ability to fight off disease later. So,
Wow. That's
yeah.
really powerful. So,
hmm
how does this actually fit into traditional medicine?
Well, it's acupuncture or acupressure, or I like to do laser acupuncture on children. There's no needles involved, and we're just using light
Mm.
to influence the points. It really is a great adjunct for anything else someone is doing medically. So people can use this type of medicine on its own, but it is a great companion to really anything else people are doing. There's really no contraindication to do this for anybody. For needles anyway, we don't do acupuncture on hemophiliacs,
Mhm.
but that's about it. There's really very few people that don't do well with acupressure, acupuncture, laser acupuncture. So it really can fit in wonderfully.
Yeah, I love that. Now
hmm
you're throwing around a lot of words. So acupressure,
Uh-huh.
acupuncture, laser. Yeah, maybe
hmm
describe the differences of those and how do you know when to use what?
Sure. So acupuncture is what people know best because in my opinion and in my experience, it does work the quickest out of those. There's something about using metal and the fact that we are mostly water
Hmm.
and being able to conduct that electricity within. And it doesn't necessarily feel like electricity when you're getting it done, but we're actually using our body's electrical system to then communicate with the brain. So acupuncture, we use tiny, tiny needles. They're like the size of a hair. Most people feel nothing with it. Sometimes I tell people it feels like a little tug on the arm hair and then it goes away.
Hmm.
That's what it feels like for most people. Some people feel nothing with it, and other people might feel a little bit of aching at the site. Occasionally there might be a pinchy one, but we'll move that quickly. Sometimes if it gets, this in the skin layer, there's just so many nerve endings. So that's why when you see someone do acupuncture, they're, tapping it in quickly because it gets past that skin layer so that it doesn't hit all those nerve endings in the skin
Hmm.
layer.
Hmm.
So that's why usually people don't feel much. And then with acupressure, we're utilizing the same points, but we're just doing a little bit of pressure instead of using a needle. And you're still getting some of that stimulation of the point and the function of the point, but there's just no needle involved. So, and then with laser acupuncture, I have my one of my lasers right here. This one's called a Chi Pulse, and it's by AcuBeam. It's a Meridia technology. They have some great tools. But this one, sometimes I'll suggest my parents get this for home use so that I can instruct them on how to use the laser. This is a red light. We just put that on the point and hold it there for 30, 40 seconds. For kids, sometimes 15, 20 seconds is enough. And that way we're again stimulating those acupuncture points, but with light, with red
Hmm.
light. And red light's kind of all the rage right now.
It's
So
all the rate. I mean, it's on
mhm.
Amazon too. Do those work on Amazon? I see these
Yeah.
like red light
So
wraps.
right, I know. So this one has a small point.
Hmm.
At the end, smaller than a lot of the ones on Amazon. The ones on Amazon tend to be a slightly bigger circumference.
Mm.
This we can get a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
And it's a low level cold laser and it's type 3, so it's totally safe.
Mhm.
It is considered eye safe, but I still am very cautious. I don't go right around the eyes. There are some red light therapies out there for vision, but for acu laser, I tend to stay away from the eyes proper. And then there's blue light too, which is fun. This one's the Chi Com. And so remember what I was saying with the ditch and the mound?
Mhm.
So when there's a deficiency, more often I'll use more the red laser because it's more tonifying or strengthening.
Mm.
And the blue laser for reducing the excess when there's too much.
Mm. How do
Um,
you know if it's too much or a ditch?
I mean, sometimes even just feeling for the point as you go along, you might actually fall into a ditch.
Oh.
So, like upon palpation, sometimes you can actually feel it. And then other times it might just be by the symptoms, depending on what symptoms someone has, it might tell us like, oh, this is an excess condition, this is a deficient condition. What's cool though is that the brain will take the information and do what it needs to do to regulate. So, like let's say we use the red light and even though there's like an excess, it'll still work. Your brain will still get the message and say, hey, we still need to regulate this area. We need to reduce the inflammation here. We need to increase the circulation. So your brain knows what to do. So
Mm.
it's,
Isn't that
trusting,
amazing, right?
getting
Trust.
into that trust.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
always so huge. Okay,
Hmm.
so it seems like the pressure and at least the laser stuff is some stuff we can do at home. So, are
Yes.
there common things that maybe the listeners can actually do at home, that
Sure.
you can show
Yeah.
us?
Well, let's talk about allergies and digestion because that seems to be such a big thing with kids these days. So, for acupressure on the face, I would avoid the laser on the face for the most part, but there's points all around the sinuses if people are having issues. You can get into any of the points around here if someone's having the sinus pressure in here. You can get into just really just feeling around for points that are tender. We call that ashur. So when there's tender points, just finding that point and just doing some circles.
Hmm.
And you could choose clockwise or counterclockwise. It's not fully necessary to do clockwise, or some people will say, oh, you got to do clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on if something's excess, you do counterclockwise to unwind it. If
Hmm.
something's deficient, you do clockwise. And so just little circles, for 20, 30 seconds on a point and then moving around. And what's fun is that kids like to do this on themselves too.
Hmm.
You can teach your child like, oh, you're trying to sleep at night, but you're all stuffy. Well, then just
Hmm.
push on these points right at the top of the bridge of the nose, up in here. You can come down. Really, this is stuff that um, is so cool that kids can do on their own. So yeah, the third eye here, this is a great point to help open up the nasal
Hmm.
area up in the hairline right here. Also great to help open that up. Sometimes doing a little bit of pinching over here to help the lymph system, right? Because once you get this moving, then it's got to drain out, right?
Hmm.
And so I just like to grab on that SCM muscle and
Squeeze
and
that
go
neck. Yeah.
down. Yeah. So just, I bet it could just be just gentle strokes as well.
And I am going
Yes.
to say, if you're listening to this episode, it is also on video on Spotify and on YouTube, so you can actually see the work. So just putting that out there. Okay.
Cool. Also, there's points on on the hands or near the hands that are really good for allergies. Large intestine 4, which is a pretty common point to use.
Mm.
It's right in the web between the thumb and the index, kind of under the bone of the index, right in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point for the head in general. So getting, for headaches, but also for opening up the sinuses.
Wow.
And it's a great immune system point as well. It helps to regulate we say the internal external relationship and allowing what we call the Wei Qi to get stronger. The Wei Qi is like a screen to block out the pathogens. So if your Wei Qi is strong, then you're able to defend your body against pathogens from entering.
I kind of want to
Um,
take this as like a vitamin. Like, can I just like push on it like every morning as if it's like a
sure.
vitamin just to get my screen to be nice and
Y-
strong?
Yeah, go for it. That's a great idea. Great idea. Yeah, so that's a really great point. Also, right on the wrist, lung 7. It's kind of right around here.
Mm.
Um, it's on the bone. It's like in this little ditch of the bone right here. For this one, I like to just kind of for children, just rubbing like that. And also the lung channel is great for to use for allergies. And the lung channel goes from the base of the thumb here and then up to the elbow. It goes up farther, but just stroking the lung channel, just gentle stroking of the lung channel can be very helpful and nourishing for the immune system as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you are talking, when we're saying allergies, I'm assuming this is more like your trees and flower, kind of polleny, not food, right?
I mean, these could be helpful for food as well. So, for example, like that large intestine 4 point helps with the large intestine as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, so beyond its function for the head, it can be helpful for the intestines.
Okay, well, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then there's a great liver point, like I was talking about calming down the liver so it's not so overreactive. Liver 3 is a great point to use. It's what we call the source point of the liver. It reminds the liver of its job, do its job well. And that point is right in the web between the first two toes, so the big toe and the second toe.
Okay.
So, if you kind of like Li4 in here on the foot, but it's liver 3. So it's between the webs there.
Okay.
And there's two liver points there. So I mean, really just looking for that tender spot in the web between those first two toes. So
Why
that
did they become tender? Like what is that? Why is it like, oh, it's tender, that's the spot?
well, if you think about like how I was saying, like the traffic jam,
Mm.
right? If there's if there's tension somewhere, then the blood slows down a little bit, the fluid slows down a little bit, and when you have too much chi or blood, it starts to block, right?
Mhm.
And so we say when the chi is other than running smoothly, then pain can come on, right? And so you may not feel the pain outside of when you're touching the point, but having tenderness at a point will tell you, hey, it's time to move the chi and blood in that area.
Move it along. Motion is motion,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, motion is key for
Motion
being in
is
this body.
key, right? Well, that's the thing. I mean, you think of just health. Life is movement, it's breath, right? Nothing in our body should be hard and just stuck.
Hmm.
Right? So
Hmm.
that goes for this as well.
Yes, for
So yeah.
sure. I mean, breath is so important. I mean, someone that has a good breath practice will be able to move that chi and blood without the assistance of acupuncture and acupressure and all that. It's the breath can do it. It's just a matter of actually doing it.
Yeah, totally. Now, what do you want to tell people out there that might be skeptical? There's always people like, I don't know about this.
Mhm. There's over the past about almost 30, say 25, 30 years or so, There is a ton of evidence. I mean, if you just go to PubMed and look up acupuncture and whatever you're interested in, there are so many studies now out there because the field started to include doctorate programs about 20 years ago. And in those programs are, so if you would like to study research and get into research, those programs are great. And so more and more people are doing research, more and more Western medicine is interested in acupuncture research as well. So, I mean, there is a ton of evidence showing that acupuncture works.
And I always say, like, why not try it, right? I mean, if the
Exactly.
things you're already doing aren't working,
Mm-hmm.
why not? I mean, like you said, it's not contraindicated very much for
Mm-mm.
anyone. So
Yeah.
if it does, the worst thing is it doesn't help, but the stuff that you were
Mm-hmm.
already doing wasn't
Yeah.
helping either. So you might as
Right.
well try it, right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many people that say, oh my God, I wish I would have done this 20 years ago. Someone that's had an issue, whether it's more digestive or psychological or pains or whatever they're dealing with, typically acupuncture works. Sometimes it takes several treatments to really start to feel the change,
Mhm.
but sometimes it's immediate. What I tell people is plan on at least a handful of treatments until you notice change,
Mhm.
but be pleasantly surprised when it happens quickly. Because
Mhm.
sometimes it's super quick. Sometimes it's one treatment and things already start to shift, and symptoms start to improve. But for some people, it takes longer.
Mhm.
And so really it's sometimes it's a patience game and finding an acupuncturist that you jive with, someone that seems like they know what they're doing, and also someone that's willing to change when something's not working.
Mhm.
When I hit treatment 3 and nothing has shifted, I'm going to change techniques.
Totally. Mhm.
Yeah. So there's so many techniques because in that culture, it was instead of out with the old and with the new, it was, oh, here's another technique. Here's another technique. Here's something new and innovative. Here's this doctor came up with it. You know, it just goes on and on and on. And so there's so many different techniques to to choose from and to learn. And so every acupuncturist is different because of that. We have different mentors, we have learned different techniques. Some people come up with their own, so it's just um, it's really endless the possibilities. So sometimes it's just okay, stick with it. We're going to find what works.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Finding someone, I think, who is open to like listening and hearing your story is huge and working with
Hmm.
you. And that's going to be different for everybody, right? Because we're
Hmm.
all different. I don't jive with everybody. Not everyone jives with me. And
Hmm.
that's okay. But finding the person that you really feel, you can trust and is listening to your needs, I think is huge. So yeah,
Hmm.
I love that. And I also believe in like for myself too, I'm always like, well, if we haven't changed anything in 3 sessions, for me, craniosacral therapy can work after one session, honestly, but you'll definitely know by the second or third session if this is
Hmm.
helping or not helping. And if it's not, it's a discussion of, okay, where do we go next? And it might not be
Hmm.
me. It might be sending them to an acupuncturist or
Hmm.
somebody else.
Hmm.
But you also
Yep.
want a practitioner that is willing to do that too, because
Yeah.
it doesn't always work for everybody, but we want to make sure you're on the right path.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. What's cool too with the use of acupressure and laser for children is that it's something that I can help people instruct them on Zoom. I can do a Zoom call with somebody, and if they want to just use acupressure, then I'll instruct them on the points. If they want to get their own laser, then they can do that on their children. For the most part, when I treat children, I instruct the parents how to treat them at home because well, first of all, that's the time. Sometimes people require coming in 2 or 3 times a week for a couple weeks,
Mhm.
right? That can be tough on a family schedule
Mhm.
and finances, right? And so being able to do from afar when it comes to instructing parents is a wonderful tool.
Yeah. And I love that you send home actual things that they can do. Well,
Yeah.
what do you want the listeners to do right after listening to this podcast?
I would find some tender spots on yourself, or if you have a child that's complaining about some pain, and just do some acupressure. Just light pressure, light circles, light strokes. You can call on me to show you what points to use. You can call on AI and say, hey, what points should I use for constipation, right? And so I'm happy to be a sounding board, but it's amazing the tools we can use with AI these days
Oh my
as
gosh.
well.
Okay, wait. I have to say something here. So does AI, if I ask AI, hey, I have a headache, what acupressure points can I use? It will tell me.
It will tell you, but it'll only tell you so much. The points that I might use for headaches or for a specific type of headache, there's different areas. It might be totally different than what AI might suggest,
Okay. So
right?
hasn't replaced us yet, which is
No,
good,
not yet. Yeah.
but also helpful, helpful,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, for
Like you're
sure
not,
helpful. I can't do the acupressure for you, can't do the laser for you at this time, but it can certainly help you with choosing some points.
yeah. Well, tell us where the listeners can find you and what you offer.
Sure. So, my practice is called Joy Vision Acupuncture. I am in North Florida in Ponte Vedra Beach. It's outside Jacksonville. Beautiful place to be. I'm at joyvisionacu.com. You can find me there easily. You can text me, you can email me. I do, like I said, I can do Zoom sessions. And also, I have a book called the Acupuncture Point Functions Charts and Workbook that I created. It has charts of each meridian with the points and their functions right next to the point,
Mm.
which is, I studied architecture as a teenager, and so it's a very architectural rendition, kind of quick reference for students learning acupuncture or clinical reference for practitioners or people that are just interested in the points. It's a great tool to have, if you do want to work with me and I say, okay, let's go to stomach 36, right? You can flip open the book and have an idea where to go for that. So it's a great reference for finding the points. And the language of it is a little different than we're used to. When you see coarse liver qi, most people are like, "What is that?" And but now you might have an idea, like, "Oh, you're smoothing out the liver qi. It's helping with overreactions and anger and things like that."
So great. I love that. I love the little visual too, because I love charts that just are like, okay, go here and
Uh-huh.
just start rubbing. So
Yes.
easy, so much. Well, it's easy if people want to do some stuff at home for themselves, even. That's
hmm
great. That's
hmm
great.
One more thing that I do, there's a technique called Acunova that was developed by a doctor in Denmark that I went and learned from because it's only a technique that's only, 30 years old. And so that's a young technique for this medicine. And it's helpful for vision.
Hmm.
So it helps to reverse some vision loss and also to help stave off if there's degenerative eye disease.
Wow.
And even though that technique is traditionally an acupuncture technique, I started using the laser instead because the kids that I've treated, I'm like, these points are a little tough to do on kids. They're pretty sensitive points compared to other acupuncture points. Most acupuncture points, you don't feel much. Some are a little more tender. And so I started using the laser and I'm getting just as good results.
Hmm.
And so that is also something that could be instructed for home use.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
It's amazing. Just all these tools out there that I think a lot of people haven't even heard of, that that's
Mhm,
even
mhm.
possible. So that's
Yeah.
great to know.
And the cool thing too with treating at home, there's pediatric herbal formulas,
Hmm.
right? And that's a huge part of traditional Chinese medicine as well. And so that's an easy way to treat at home. And yeah, so there's a ton of great herbal formulas too.
Wow. Okay. Well, Thank you so much for
You're
sharing
welcome.
all of your knowledge with us and teaching us a little bit more about acupuncture and just acupressure and lasers and all the goodies that you did today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to learn more about Erica and all that she has to offer, just click on the link in the show notes. And until next week, keep carving out time for yourself and keep putting yourself on top of your to do list.